Good morning, everyone. This is Tracy Newman from the Navigator's Tarot. We're going to have a look at some of the energies that are flying about at the minute. Oh, and just as I said that, one went flying, and it is, strength. We're actually all needing that at the moment because the energies, even though the energies have kind of like, the last week has been extremely huge. There's been a build-up of a massive amount of energy, and it's kind of like a chaotic type of energy that a lot of us are experiencing. And it's kind of like the darkness really, really kind of like managing to sort of like take a hold. And it's their last-ditch effort to kind of take a hold of us. But what's actually happening with that energy is that it's easily being dissipated once we actually let go of it and move out of fear into unconditional love. And when you do that, the energy just goes. And it's like this build up, and then it's like the intake to build up as much of this energy as you possibly can, and to build up as much of this chaos as you possibly can. And then on the out breath, it just is like this huge sigh of, oh, thank God, it's gone. So it's that kind of thing that's happening, but also too requiring strength to do that, because this is literally the last-ditch effort of the darkness to take a hold of us and to feed from us, feed from the loosh of the fear that we have and that chaotic energy that comes from the fear of fight or flight. And because we actually build that up, yes, they can grab a hold of it. But once it actually leaves and dissipates, they have no hold on us anymore. And that dark energy has no hold on us anymore. But what's happening is that once upon a time, it was very difficult to kind of like release that energy. Whereas now it appears that it's quite easy to just kind of like take the out breath, release any sort of fear that comes in. And it's easy to just allow it to dissipate and go. But it is requiring great strength and fortitude to recognize what is actually going on within our own structures and going, okay, this feels uncomfortable, and but moving into more kind of like an ease of movement, and also to an ease of being able to just breathe things out. So we're moving more into a more centered, more still approach to how we live our lives. It's a very still, it's like the still point energy after this massive burst of energy. Now it's come down to this still point, this actual 0 point energy, where it's the stillness before the taking of the next in breath. It's a very interesting dynamic and energy that I'm feeling. So once you actually do release all this pent up energy that can come in the form of rage or chaos or however it comes in, doesn't really matter. What it is actually showing us is that to be the observer of our own lives, and to actually, it's teaching us to be the observer of our own lives and to have a look to see, oh, this is just energy, this play of energy. How is it actually manifesting, and how can I work with it to the best of my abilities and to my advantage? And so that's kind of what's going on within us all at the moment. It's like you have a choice. You can go this way or that way, but the energy literally will dictate to us exactly where we will be going in our future lives, but also in our momentary secondary kind of, when I say that, I don't mean secondary, I mean momentary lives in the moment. So given any moment, you can just literally stay in that presence and move from there as the energy actually begins to shift and move. And if you watch it as an observer and breathe it out, that energy then moves and becomes something different, if that makes sense. It's like a chaotic type of energy, build up, release, let go. Unconditional love comes in, and you recognize it and see it as just what it is, chaotic energy, a build-up of toxic energy that needs to be released and moved through. So that's kind of what's going on with the collective at the moment, on an individual level, but also too as a collective, we're beginning to notice, because we're seeing a lot of chaos in the world at the moment. But if you look at it as just energy, it's going to build, 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 and eventually it'll have nowhere to go, and then it will just dissipate as we breathe out into something a lot more peaceful. So what I'm hearing is that there is peace coming, because it's starting to, because we're experiencing this on an individual level, as within, so without. So everything, as we begin to release the chaos in our own lives and that chaotic energy as it builds up, and we release it and allow it to sort of like move away from us, we'll begin to see that in our outer world as well. So the build up of chaotic energy, and then the final release, which is peace, love, basically peace and love, because that's exactly what you experience after that chaos. Because a lot of those larger energies can have us feeling like we're trapped. We cannot get out of this build-up of energy that is just like overtaking our lives. And it's like, oh, what can I do with this? It is chaotic. I can't, manage it. It is so huge. And so a lot of us can feel quite trapped when that occurs. But if we can stop, be the observer of our own lives, and begin to see just how we can release all of that and allow the body to sort of like help us do that, allow the breath to help us do that, and become the observer of our own lives, then we can just breathe out and allow and just breathe out those energies. So it's like breathing in, breathing out, concentrating on the breath at all times to breathe in, breathe out, and release. Because, as we're moving through these energies, we're actually moving into a greater sense of understanding of who we really are, and upon this new earth plane that we are actually creating as we begin to release a lot of the chaos and the chaotic energies within. And we are moving into these new beginnings. See, she's just there, and she's got this beautiful outlook with mountains, and she's totally free to go her own way because she's released a lot of her angst. She's released a lot of the energy that is pent up within, and this old chaotic energy that is no longer going to, once upon a time, a lot of us, it may actually have kept us where we felt safe in a way. But now it's kind of like, it's no longer making me feel safe. It's just making me feel like I'm tired, I'm overburdened, and I need to release it. I need to release this chaotic energy. And, it's very interesting, but just before I had this, many years ago, before I left a relationship, I had this build up of energy. And it got so hard that in the end, it was like I felt so overburdened with energy, like the energy was heavy. And I just thought, I don't know, I can't keep going with this energy. It's so heavy. But I listened to my intuition, and it said, you have to leave now. I didn't understand at the time, and it took me another 8 years to figure out why, because in those days I was a little bit slow to figure it out. But it was a build-up of toxic, chaotic energy within that needed to be released. And the only way I could do that was to leave and to work on releasing those burdens and that burdensome toxic energy that had built up over a number of years, and had nothing to do in whatsoever with the partner that I was with. I needed to go and release it and find a way. And in those days, it was very difficult because the energies were very heavy and not helpful at all. But now everything is changing because more and more people are beginning to awaken. And as more and more people begin to awaken, the energy changes, the energy becomes lighter, and it also becomes, and so it also too, it becomes faster. The light becomes faster because light is information, but the light itself becomes quite a fast moving energy because it's blasting. And so it's actually making us, it's forcing us to release the toxic energy and release that build-up of energy in quite quickly, because we're now moving into a different kind of frequency, a more fast-moving frequency that is helping us to release a lot of this toxic energy that has built up. We also have the King of Cups, which is about moving into, like, not really understanding exactly where we are going, because we're blindfolded, but allowing our intuition to guide us at any given moment, and and from there become the observer of our own lives, and also to being available to let go of anything that is holding us back. And this is the King of Cups. There he is, that beautiful King of Cups. So moving into a greater amount of love for the self, and also too, this is the card of the masculine in love. So, you know, the masculines, I think too, this is just a general energy report, but the masculine energy is a representation of our physical world and our physical 3D matrix world, and also the darkness. It has that kind of lean-to for that as well, the yin and the yang, that type of thing. And in its toxic form, it can become very, very unbalanced. But now the masculine energies are probably, you know, part of their release state is this build-up of this toxic energy that has become so toxic that it can no longer be maintained. And so a lot of the masculines will literally be going through this massive amount of toxic energy build-up that will need to be released. And when they do, they move into this beautiful King of Cups energy. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, so greater communication with the self and therefore others as you begin to release a lot of these pent-up energies. Yeah, and it's a walking away basically from anything that is no longer, it's... I think sometimes a lot of us also to have a propensity to kind of like focus and remain stuck in things, not allowing the energy to sort of move. And because we remain stuck and we kind of look and despondently at what we have or what we are, if we just turn around and actually see, because this is like the five of cups, she's walking away. But what is actually happening is literally she's focusing on the 3 cups that are spilled, not noticing that there are 2 cups behind her that are full. And sometimes just a shift in focus can actually, have a dramatic effect and allow us to sort of like step away from being completely trapped by these huge energies. The minute you turn around and you change your focus onto something that, and be grateful for your life and step away from chaos and move into grace, that can actually happen. That can actually help to release a lot of the pent-up energies and the trapped energies as well. So shifting your focus can help a lot into something that is far more beautiful, especially if this is the 6 of Cups, which is about nostalgia, about the past. So even sometimes focusing on something that is very beautiful or something from the past that is also to... like yesterday, I was with my mother and she had a book of mine with lots of photos that my daughter had given me for my birthday. And she was just looking through and she was reminiscing about a lot of the times that we spent together and, and in the photos and the happy times because my mother is actually losing her memory a lot. And so for her, it was really, really a wonderful thing because she could look back on the photos and say, oh, I remember that. I remember when we went. So it's like shifting your focus, but being nostalgic too about some of the really wonderful things that have happened in your life and sort of like shifting your energy from there. And so that the chaotic energy can sort of like dissipate and move away from, the chaos that is you sometimes, is me, whatever, that can ensue from that. And moving into a greater sense of peace and love. So just shifting your focus can do that in any way, shape or form. And then we have the Sun, which is also the masculine energy, but also too is a beautiful energy that is coming through. The Sun is going through a massive amount of changes. The solar flares are really, really sort of amping up, which is having an effect on all of us. The amount of light that's coming through is fast-moving energy, and it will literally blast through and shift out anything. And it can look like chaos. It can really look like chaos as these energies build up. But once you release them, you move into a greater sense of peace and love. Anyway, they're the energies for the week. I hope that makes sense, and I shall see you next week. Bye for now.